Valley. Aliens. The Eagle Radio Network.
Good morning and welcome this happy Friday morning and Saturday morning. If you came early, the early bird gets the worm. So Friday morning, Saturday morning, CEO radio show is live. How you doing this morning, Kobe?
I'm doing fantastic. Excited today.
Hey, it's a nice day, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day.
Hey, we just want to remind you guys, if you're listening to us here locally on AM 1620 and you're getting ready to drive out of the zone, and you can't hear us there anymore, then get your iPhone out or your Android and tune in to us at smradio.org/audio. And if you're not driving but you want to watch us, you can watch us on smradio.org/YouTube, live around the world, including the International Space Station. Guys, we're still waiting on that email from you up there. We hope you're enjoying the show. And if you're at what? I'm doing my intro.
No, I'm talking about the NASA. I'm talking about the space station.
Oh, the space station. They can hear us, yeah.
Yeah, it's time for them to go ahead and send us that email.
That's right, yeah. Send us that email. Thank you. And if you live in Riverside County, California, you can watch our smiling faces. Hey, we're both smiling.
Yeah, well, when Dennis doesn't want to fight with me.
Oh, ooh, whoa. It's going to be one of those days. Whoa, boy. There we go. Cross your fingers. Hope we survive this day. You can watch us on Verizon Fios, channel 45 in Riverside County, or on Time Warner Cable, channel 26.105. So here you are. Hey, we got a great show today, and we have got a wonderful guest today, don't we?
We have a fantastic guest, one of my favorites, because we interviewed her husband a few months back. Her husband happens to be Ryan Avery. He's the world champion of speaking for Toastmasters. Chelsea comes to us with her own business, and she does a website called The New Lifestyle, which has a lot of interesting things for couples out there. They do a great job together in business together, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what she has to say about her business and how they make that work.
Yeah, you got to start out like when you go to a concert. They have like a little opening band that starts out, and then you get the big band come in.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what Ryan did. He kind of opened up the show and got things ready, and now we got the real star here.
Yeah, we got corporate office. In my relationship with my wife is corporate office. That's what I call it.
Well, I hope you don't get fired today.
I stay right. Let's just say I stay right.
Hey, good morning, Chelsea. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. It sounds like we're going to have a feisty show, so I'm really excited about that.
Good. We like feisty.
So, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I live in Portland, so we've just had rain and more rain, and literally 5 minutes ago the sun came out. So thanks for sending that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice.
We called ahead.
I appreciate that.
Not a problem. We had a lot of control down here with all these switches and buttons.
Powerful over there.
Hey, when we're done, we got to turn the rain button back on up in Seattle, okay?
All right, fair enough.
Get it. So you just you've really got some cool stuff going on here with being a wife and talking about being a wife to a lot of other people. So how did all this get started? I guess by marriage, right? But
it did. That was when I became a wife, the very first moment.
Is that a coincidence?
So yeah, I just started. Actually, Ryan, my husband, was writing on a napkin, and he said something about lifestyle. And I looked over and thought I saw a W. So I thought, wifestyle, ooh, what is that? I'm wifestyle. I'm the new wifestyle. And wow. I started looking around for resources when we got married. When I am still a newlywed, I like to think. We've been married about 3.5 years. And I started looking around for resources and not really finding a ton. And I feel like there's a new wave of wives in the 21st century where we're really striving to still maintain being strong, independent women, but also being loving and supportive wives.
And you have not only a relationship as a wife, but also you're in business together. Is that right?
Yes. So, as he likes to say, I am the boss at home and at work. So that's fun. We do, and we have a really fun time of it. Challenges, of course.
Well, I definitely want to hear about that as we get going with the show, because that's, a partnership in business is something that I usually don't recommend to my clients because it could be a bad thing. So, but we'll get into that later in the show. We want to hear a little bit about your background, before you got married, and who you are, where you came from, and what's your story.
Well, geez, how much time do we have here? Just kidding. I'm only 27.
Don't go back before birth. You can start there.
Sounds good. Well, I was born and raised in Colorado, and my background is actually in social work. So we moved to Portland so that I could get my master's in social work, and that really started when I started working at a camp for kids with disabilities when I was about 15. And that was really transformative for me and put me on the path to social work and giving back and trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We're finding with just about every guest that the real secret to making things work is thinking about other people, serving other people.
Absolutely.
So I think you were blessed to figure that out at age 15.
I really was, and I just knew that's what I always wanted to do, and that's what I did. I have my undergrad in social work. I have a certificate in gerontology because I also love me some old people.
I love me some old people. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I love it. We glad that you love us.
You don't count. You don't count as old people yet. Come on.
We're old people.
the camera really just makes us look younger.
Yeah.
Is that a filter? What is that?
What's that?
Is that a camera filter or what is that?
Yeah. It's an age filter. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway. Hey, speaking of learning from older people, I've just got to share this, and then maybe we can talk on it for a minute too. But just yesterday, I watched a little YouTube video. Some company came up with a plan that in Brazil, they have people that are learning English, and they have connected with several nursing homes up in Chicago area. And so what they've done is they've hooked up where these young kids are wanting to learn English, and so they do sessions chit-chatting with the folks in the nursing home.
Wow, that is too cool.
It brought on a little tear at the end, and because they're just falling in love with each other.
Wow, that's powerful and intergenerational. That's huge. I think there is a big disconnect, so that's great that they're able to connect those. Yeah,
there's a lot to learn from people that have had some years of wisdom. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So that experience you had when you were 15 at the camp got you going towards wanting to do social work. Why social work as opposed to some other type of interaction with humanity? What drew you to social work?
Specifically in social work, I found a track. So there's the very kind of stereotypical social work where you are counseling or being a therapist, and there's another track called community-based, and that's something that you really focus on systemic change and racism and sexism and looking at how the systems that we function in are structured and that oftentimes they're broken. So for me, that was really powerful to see and understand, wow, we are trying to function in this system that isn't quite working. And that's what really set me on the track of social work.
Well, that's good, and it helps to have that drive to move towards a goal, which you did, and you went through and got your master's degree in that.
Yes.
And did you do work in that, or did you wind up moving on to another area, or what?
So I worked for a few years, some with homeless families, some with actually the Census Bureau, and various things like that. And then about a year ago, I just have to mention this, I worked for another organization that inspires girls to be strong, smart, and bold, and that was my last full-time social work job. And then a year ago, I became an entrepreneur, which is mind-blowing to me still.
Yeah.
A very different brain than social work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So how did you become an entrepreneur? Is that something you did after you were married together with your husband, or on your own? Or?
Yes, after we were married. As you mentioned, my husband is the youngest world champion of public speaking, and I actually coached him through that. So after he won, we had all of these opportunities in front of us, and he comes from a very entrepreneurial background, and I have family that are entrepreneurs, but neither my mom and dad were, so I wasn't exposed to that growing up.
Uh-huh.
And he really was. So he said, of course, this is only natural. We must start our own business. We must go into business together. And I was pretty resistant at first because, like you said, there aren't good statistics around couples going into business together. And
Right.
It's really challenging to balance that life partner and business partner. But we had this opportunity, and we both had the drive to say, okay, we are destined for something bigger, even if it's terrifying and we don't quite know what that is. And I feel as though I'm finally starting to embrace that. Before I always said, well, I'm a social worker and I kind of do this on the side, but now I'm finally able to say social work helps drive the type of business and businesswoman that I am, and for that I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, you just touched on something that Dennis and I talk about on a regular basis, and what it was your mind was programmed to be a certain way already.
Absolutely.
You weren't really looking at the opportunity of doing something else because that's the way you were programmed.
Absolutely, and conditioned for years and years and years to think I have to function in this system, I have to work for someone else, I have to only make this much money regardless of how much education I get. So it's so true that my brain, and it's still a struggle for me every day to realize that I can be in control of what I'm thinking and what I'm doing and what I'm capable of.
Yeah, see, that's important, Chelsea, because, and your message is important because a lot of people out there are in the same predicament that you were in, that they can't change, and this is what they have to deal with and go on in life.
Yeah. You guys out there watching us right now or listening can probably relate with either having been that way or you still are. I know a lot of people are having to move right now from work to starting their own business because the economy is forcing them to do something. So that's a different motivator, of course, when you feel you have to.
And it's a blessing that you came up with the new lifestyle because you're going into this new entrepreneurship way of thinking. And, you're worried about the relationship with your husband and being in business. And I think the new lifestyle helps you get through all of those things and helps others get through those things as well.
Thank you. I really feel that way too, and I feel as though that helps feed my need and want for social justice, particularly for women's rights. So it is a really powerful thing for me to have finally put my finger on, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm meant to be doing. It is really powerful for me.
That's good. Yeah, we're participating in about a week and a half or so at the California Women's Conference, and I think that there's a big movement towards equality between men and women and respect for one another. So I think you're right along the right lines with where your thoughts are and where your business is, and trying to help people understand that.
Thank you, and that's great that you're participating in that. I think that's one of my biggest thing is that even though it's women's rights, we need everyone on it helping make sure that regardless of your gender, that we are equal and that we're working with the same sort of values set on anyone regardless of your gender.
Right. Now I love the way that you're talking right now, and you've got a great smile, and you're doing great here on the radio show. And so, am I reading you right that you're kind of an extrovert or not?
Well, no, I'm kind of an introvert. Actually, right now I'm expelling all of my energy for this, just so you know. So I hope you're
going to take a long nap afterwards.
Yes, I am. Long nap, probably eat some cookies. That's kind of how I roll. No, that's a really interesting thing because I am pretty introverted, and I happen to be married to a very extroverted person. So that's been an interesting dynamic between us, and I think it can be very challenging for both of us, but it's also really rewarding because if it was up to me, we would be sitting at home every night just staring at each other and watching TV, and if it were up to him, we would be party hopping from every single place in Portland and flying all over the world every other day, which we kind of do anyways. But
well, I think that's what makes it special as far as being in a relationship. You have two opposite sides that come together, and you guys are able to complement each other. Because I think in my relationship with my wife, it's the same. I'm high strung, out there all the time, and she's more quiet, and she doesn't want to do a lot and stuff like that. And it's just like, no, let's just change. We change each other.
Yeah. No, and I think that that's really powerful. And if you can continue to have conversations about what your needs are. So, for instance, Ryan will want to go out, and I feel like we had just been out the night before. So, for me to be able to say, you know what, I need to recharge my batteries. You can go ahead and go out. I'm going to stay here and read a book or do some painting or something like that. But being able to express my needs to him and then have him be able to respect those and then make decisions based on that. And usually we are a little bit a package. So he usually ends up staying home and hanging out with me. Nice. But I think it's really important for me also to be able to stretch myself and put myself in those social situations that can sometimes be draining and a little bit overwhelming, but then knowing how to take care of yourself afterwards.
I'm going to say smart man.
He's pretty
smart thing, to stay there. That's how I have a similar relationship. I may be hard to believe it. I am a little bit on the extroverted side.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. I'm coming out right now. I'm an extrovert.
No, actually, he's not an extrovert. He's an extrovert.
Oh, dang. That's a lot of verts.
That's the double mint gum.
Yeah, because I'm an extrovert, and I have a hard time keeping up with him.
Wow.
It was funny when my wife and I were early in our marriage. We'd go out with some friends or something to a movie, and we would arrive early because she didn't like being late either. And when it's early, everybody's sitting in there, and the screen is blank, and so I just had to, get up in front and talk to everybody.
Oh my goodness.
So my wife quickly would tell our friends, don't, they would dare me to do something. She goes, look, I'm going to guarantee he will do it, so just don't ask him.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that. And the feeling of embarrassment and, oh my goodness, is he really doing that? Yes, he is. There he goes.
There he goes. That's right.
Yeah, I'm not that far out.
Okay, good balance.
At least not yet. Dennis is working on me.
Hey, listen, we're going to go to break here in just a little bit. But when we come back, I want to talk more about what does it mean, what the new wife style.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk some more about
let's
that.
get into that.
Yeah, because I'm from a different generation, and I open the car door for my wife, and we probably have some traditional separated roles that for us work. We're happy with it; it works fine.
We know you're a minority.
Yeah, there's a lot of us in nursing homes, but. Anyway, when we come back, let's talk some more about what is the new wife style. And just remember that you can be listening to us on the internet anywhere in the world at smradio.org/audio. And, soon, did you know we're going to have apps pretty soon, too? You're going to be able to watch our show and stuff right from your phone. So those will be coming soon. Yeah, but we'll be back right after these messages.
You must be your fairy godmother.
Cinderella's dream comes true because the glass slipper fits.
Different.
In our world, the right fit can be just as important, especially when it comes to car seats. Always choose a car seat that's the right fit for your child's age and size to make sure your little pumpkin gets there safely every time.
Hop in, dear. Thank you.
For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. This message has been brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's a comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control of my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back to the Saturday Morning CEO Radio Show. Hey, we're glad to have you back here today. And hey, you missed a little bit of fun here during the break. We had Kobe put a little bow on his head, looked like a little present. So you guys missed my pun. I said, "Hey, you're my bow friend."
Oh, I love a good pun. You're full of them, Dennis. You're full of them.
Hang out with Dennis. He'll give you a lot of good ones and bad ones.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, got to live in the present. So.
Oh, hey-o.
Okay, let's get thinking outside the box now. So, when we went to break, we said that we were going to talk a little bit more about what is the new wife style.
Outside the box.
Oh, you just got it.
Yeah, it was hovering for a little while.
It was wrapped up.
Right after presents. Yeah,
you got it. Okay, sorry.
Goodness.
Just string you along. So, all right. So, wife style.
Yeah, so the new wife style is really about being a strong woman first and then being in a healthy and happy marriage by choice. So for me, it is really all about the choices that you make within your marriage, the fact that hopefully no one is forced to be in a marriage, particularly in this country, and that it really is a choice and that both of you should be choosing to make your marriage a partnership and a priority.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. And I think the first thing you brought up was you being strong yourself first.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really huge, and we can sometimes, as women and as men, feel as though our relationship completely defines us, and I don't think that that's healthy. I think it's two strong individuals coming together to create a unit, but I think it's really important that you maintain your individuality and your own sense of self, because that will enhance your marriage and your relationship.
So since I'm from a different generation, I just want to make sure that it's clear. I like if I open the car door for my wife and do some things like that, and I mean, is that something that you would not like, or
not necessarily? No, I think there's a way that you're going about it and your intentions. So I happen to be married to Mr. Southern, Mr. Texas. So he's raised with so much Southern hospitality. So he loves opening doors for me. He loves to take care of me or say certain things like, I can't wait to take you on this trip, where sometimes I'm like, well, it's both of our money, so aren't we taking each other on this trip? But there's a mindset for him where he likes those type of things. And I think that that is okay and fine, as long as you're not doing it because you don't think I'm capable of opening my own door or carrying a heavy box. Because let me tell you, I actually work out, and I could probably carry 2 or 3 boxes on my own just fine.
Oh, I like that. I like the
independent.
So I think that that's fine, and admittedly, sometimes when I'm being passive-aggressive and not being the friendliest person, I know to run to the car door to open it first so that Ryan can't open it, just to kind of stick it.
Wow.
I know. So I think there's a way that I also open doors for him, and I think that that's fine. I don't feel so opposite of needing to not adhere to traditional roles, so I think that that's great and kind that you open doors for your wife, and I have doors open for me too, but I'm also capable of opening doors for my husband and it not being weird or uncomfortable either. So I think that's where the new lifestyle comes in, is being conscious of your choices, and the biggest thing is that they're choices, not expectations.
See, here's proof. Here's proof that I'm old school. My mama, if my wife was opening the door for me and my mom was standing there, I'd get smacked up.
That's true. Yeah,
I would get smacked up.
I would suggest not doing that.
That's an old school, yeah.
Oh, old school.
Yeah, so you gotta smack your mama back is what. No,
no, that is not the new lifestyle. Absolutely not.
I'm gonna smack you for saying it.
Hey, put that on the list. Never meet Kobe's mom.
Well, no, you know what? She's older now, so I think she's a lot nicer than she was when I was growing up.
Well, knowing you, she probably had to be tough when you were little.
Oh yeah, well,
maybe.
No, you got a point. I was pretty bad.
So I read a statistic yesterday that it was close to 20%, like 17%, I think, of the women are asking men to marry them, which is outside of tradition. And it was a big enough number that I kind of raised my eyebrows. I thought, I had no idea.
Wow, that is a big number.
Yeah,
that's a big number.
So, what is your thought about that? Does that make you happy, or does it?
It does make me happy because it's showing that women are just as capable of making big life intense decisions as men are, that they can ask those questions. For me, I wanted to be asked by my then boyfriend to marry him. So
Right.
that was what we had talked about, that was something that I wanted. However, I also wanted to pick out my own ring. I did not, it's not that I didn't trust him, but if I was going to wear this ring for the rest of my life, I wanted to be a part of it. So
Right.
I set those expectations out there for us, and we were clear in that. So for us, I was expecting and wanted to be proposed to. However, I think if a woman wants to propose to her boyfriend, more power to her. That is being bold and taking action, which I really strongly encourage.
And I bet you Ryan really appreciated that you wanted to pick out your own ring, because that takes out the guesswork for us.
Yes,
We don't
he did.
We don't disappoint.
Right, exactly. And that was his whole thing was, yeah, you're wearing it for the rest of your life. Why would you not want to be involved in this? And we went and picked out his rings together. He actually wore an engagement ring, which was his choosing and choice. And I think that's also something that's tending to catch on now. I think it is interesting that once you become engaged, only the woman wears a ring to symbolize that she is about to be taken, and yet the man's hand remains free, typically up until you're married. So I really appreciated that, and that was of his own choosing. And he got 2 rings out of the deal, so can't say all that.
Nice. He came up. We call that a come up.
Yeah.
Come up.
Yeah.
I do like that. That I think one thing you brought up was it's kind of, you got to understand the reason why people are doing things, like with the opening the car door. It's like, well,
Right.
you're a wimp because you're a girl, so I'm going to open the door. Well, that's the wrong attitude. So the same probably with let's just use the word traditions.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to honor the tradition for your boyfriend to ask you to get married, and some people may not. That's okay, but is it the why there also? I mean, it's okay to follow a tradition, right? If it's just
Absolutely. I think it's just back to making a conscious choice about it, and I think that's what I really try to encourage in the new lifestyle, is that the expectations aren't there. Solely because I'm a woman does not mean that I have to cook for you or that I am supposed to clean our whole house. That would be a traditional expectation as opposed to a choice now. So if you are a woman and you are cooking and cleaning and you've made that choice, more power to you. I think that that's great. I don't cook. It stresses me out. I make things taste bad. So Ryan actually happens to be the cook in our relationship, and he's great at it. So that's a choice that we've made together, and we both take on cleaning the apartment. And in the past, when I was in grad school and didn't have time to clean because I was always studying, he cleaned the entire apartment the whole time. There are other times when he is gearing up for a slew of keynotes or going on a book tour that he doesn't have time to clean, so I take all of that on. But it's really that balance and that choice as opposed to having traditional expectations put on you based on your gender.
And that, that goes to my next question. Being in business with the new lifestyle and looking at your blog, I can see that you're very, very active with that, and that's growing, quite rapidly. So with him being, the youngest number one speaker for Toastmasters and doing a lot of work with himself and working on his book, how do you guys make that work with having 2 businesses in your relationship as far as, like time and organization, and what are some of the things that you do?
So it is really tricky at times, and we're brand new at this. We've only been doing this full time together for not even a year yet. So we still have a lot of learning to do, but what we've decided is that first and foremost, before we went into business together, we made the conscious goal for us that our marriage would always come first. If there was ever a time that our business started interfering with us and our relationship, then that wasn't worth it. Our marriage is our priority. Before business, before other family members, before friends, it is the 2 of us together. So I think that really set it off on the right track to start out with. Go ahead.
I think the key theme here is having good communication.
It's huge. It's so vital, and it takes some time, but these are learnable skills that you can have. And that's what I want to express to people, because Ryan and I do spend a lot of our time figuring out how each other communicates and how we receive information. And there's a lot of apologizing, there's a lot of trying things out, but because we're both committed to our relationship first, it actually helps our business. So what we tend to do is we work a lot. We work a lot more than if we were working for other companies. And we get to do it together. So sometimes those days look like sitting next to each other and trying to come up with new content for keynotes or working on his book. And then he's very good, because I do tend to be more introverted, that I can just kind of roll with him on it. He's very good at saying, okay, Chelsea, let's switch gears and jump to the new lifestyle. How's your strategy coming? What are your next events coming up? So he's very good, because I sometimes, not necessarily forget, but I can put our larger business that we work on together ahead of that. So he's very good at knowing that and helping bring the new lifestyle to the forefront.
Nice. Now, since he's traveling a lot, I guess, and you're at home, I kind of want to take a little side segue, too, and talk about communication with, all this technology and stuff today. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a little comment here on our promo for the show from a Teresa Ferris. Says, awesome watching now. And, we're able to look and communicate with each other through Twitter and through Facebook and all these other things. So how do you use or avoid technology in your communication with one another?
I think that's huge, and luckily we travel together 98% of the time. This time I was like, I just need to stay home. You go, man, you go. So I do really appreciate technology, and we use FaceTime every night, which I love, and it's just reassuring to see his face. And actually, when the first 7 months of our relationship, we were apart. He was studying abroad in the Czech Republic. So I feel like that is where we've really developed our communication skills, because we weren't able to physically be next to each other and have one-on-one in-person conversations. So we had to figure out, hey, how does this person communicate through webcam and through email and through little SMS messages? So for that, I'm really appreciative of technology. And where I see it being more of a problem is actually when we're together. I tend to be a little bit of a social media addict, and I'm working on it.
Ah, gotcha.
We call those new millennium babies.
I know, it's bad. It's not a good thing. It's really detrimental to I feel like yourself as a person as well as your relationship. It's not a good thing.
You scared me for a second, Chelsea, because I thought you were going to say that, when he came back home, that you were, sending him a text while...
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There have been times that I don't want to get out of bed, and I may text him to bring it in. So we're not always technology.
One of the companies I ran, I had my IT director told me that he and his wife both did online businesses, too. Mm-hmm. And they'd sometimes be sitting in the same living room, and they were actually writing code. I mean, these are the heavy-duty.
Wow.
So they would send each other a little instant message saying, hey, do you want to go grab something to eat? Instead of turning around and talking, because they didn't want to interrupt them while they're writing code.
I could kind of see where that works. We have a rule, too, that if you see that I'm typing, you're not allowed to talk to me yet. Like, let me finish my sentence in my book, or let me finish what I'm doing here. So I think there needs to be a balance with everything. It's moderation. But there are times when we both have to say, okay, let's just go out to dinner and leave our phones at home, which causes me some anxiety, because how am I going to take pictures of my food?
You know what? I got a quick answer for you. Just take your iPad that's not on the internet.
Oh, there you go.
See?
I look for solutions.
You gave her an out.
Yeah, I don't let my wife bring any problems. We get the solution before we bring the problems.
I like it.
That's very good. So there's a lot of things that you have, through both businesses, you've come in contact with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to kind of hear your thoughts about how you feel that you guys have been, the motivator here to get into social work and everything else was serving other people. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to find out, is there a story maybe that we've just got a couple minutes before we go to break here, but if you have a short story that you could tell about somebody that might have been influenced by something you did.
Yeah, absolutely. So last year we went on a 50-city tour around North America together, and we were teaching people how to be speakers and how to speak from the heart. So that's something that we both believe in. We both do coaching and workshops on public speaking. And I don't love public speaking, but what I do love is giving people the confidence and the tools to help spread their message and share what's important to them. So we were at one workshop, and there was this very quiet, reserved woman, and I saw her hanging out in the back afterwards as we were taking pictures and doing our thing, and she was slowly inching forward and slowly inching forward. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to meet her halfway. I'm going to go chat with her and just thank her for being at our event. And you could tell that she was shaky and sweaty and nervous, and it took every ounce of her to have this conversation to be able to say, what you had just said in there about speaking from your heart and the world will listen, I have a story inside of me that I need to share with people.
Wow.
And it was so powerful to just see this transformation in her. And she said, you know, I'm really shy. I really don't like talking to new people. But I knew that I needed to come out here and let you know that you have inspired in me to use my voice, that my voice does matter. Even if it's quiet, even if it's shaky, even if I don't know exactly what I want to say, I have the confidence now that people need to hear what I have to say. So it's things like that that are just so powerful and so inspiring to be around people like that.
Oh, that's great. Well, when we come back, we want to hear some more stories about some of your travels and the things that you've learned along the way, how that has helped you as a person, as a wife, and as a business partner.
Perfect.
So back right after these messages. Remember, you can watch us live on smradio.org/YouTube. We'll see you back in just a minute.
For the California Dental Association, Christy Yamaguchi.
As an Olympian and daughter of a dentist, I know the importance of having healthy teeth and a bright, healthy smile. Tooth decay is the #1 childhood disease, more than asthma and obesity. That's why a new state law requires that kindergartners receive a dental checkup. So parents, prepare your children for school. Take your child to see a dentist. It'll make you smile too.
For more information, call 800-CDA-SMILE.
Do you suffer from the heartbreak of brain rot, feeling bored, sluggish, listless, not had a new idea in days, using electronic gizmos without a clue why they work? Now there's help. Ham radio, guaranteed to stimulate your corroding neurons and open a whole new world of excitement. To learn more about ham radio, go to helloradio.org.
Side effects of ham radio usage include mental stimulation, desire for education, new career paths, understanding of technology, and cases of addiction have been reported. If you experience any of these symptoms, you're welcome.
Ham radio. It's not your granddaddy's radio anymore.
They were outnumbered, out-equipped. They had no chance of winning, but they had one huge advantage: General George Washington.
The fate of unborn millions will now depend, under God, on the courage and conduct of this army. We have to resolve to conquer or die.
Just as the leadership of one man helped form a nation, today leadership can transform the world. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Hey, you should know some of Saturday Morning Radio's secrets to success. We chose Branding Group to design and host our website because they fulfill web design with integrity. They've had clients like Crocs Shoes, Ford, and Chrysler. They're the real deal. Alex and his full-time programmers are easy to work with. After our free site analysis, they helped us with mobile applications for iPhone and Android. Find them at smradio.org/web. They are a proud sponsor of the Saturday Morning Foundation.
It's like FM without the commercials. It's like XM without the quality. It's AM 1620, the Eagle Radio Network.
Yeehaw! Okay, so we're sorry. We're back.
You said audio on, then you started making all these noises. You know that?
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right.
Can't help myself.
Hey, welcome back to the Saturday Morning CEO Radio Show. Hey, we're just having too much fun here, but I think we've got some great information that we're getting from Chelsea Avery about her relationship with her husband as a business partner, as a wife and a husband, and they have toured. You said you went to 50 cities last year.
We did. We actually went to 72 cities last year, but we were on a 50-city tour. It was crazy. It was a little.
Wow. And yeah, you went to Russia and all kinds of.
We did.
So I'm interested in hearing a little bit about what you learned from people in different parts of the world. Is everybody? They probably got some stuff that you've noticed is the same no matter where you go, and there's probably other things that are kind of unique. So it'd be interesting to hear some of that. So go ahead and tell us some of the aha moments you had as you were traveling.
One of the really interesting things as we were traveling through Russia is that people really don't smile there. And I don't feel like I'm a very smiley person. I can have resting mean face, which means that my face literally looks like I'm angry when I'm just sitting, and I'm not actually angry. So I don't feel like I'm a super smiley person, but I noticed that I am actually when we were in Russia. And you know, here when you just pass by someone in the street and you make eye contact, your initial response is just a quick smile or a smirk towards them. In Russia, it was not that way at all. It was very interesting to smile at someone and have a stone face back. So that was an interesting thing that I noticed that was very tangible and very different. And being there with my husband, who's a very friendly Texan, it was really shocking for him to not get any type of response back. So that was pretty interesting.
Why do you think that is? Because I'm sure you probably got to know some people there.
That's just kind of the way that country functions. And it's not that they're mean, it's not that they're angry, it's just it's how it works.
Yeah.
So it's what's socially acceptable then.
Yes, and I also noticed that it is very true that Americans are much louder than Europeans and people from other countries. Yeah, I know, believe it. Particularly when you're with a bunch of Texans too. There's lots of yeehawing. But we were sitting in a hotel and people were having quiet conversations. There was truly a group of 8 people and we could not hear anything that they were saying. It was a small whisper, but they were having an enthusiastic and meaningful conversation. And then you have the 8 of us, you know, across the hotel, and we're just la 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 la, so loud and obnoxious. So we actually developed the terminology of Swiss. So when we were getting too loud and being those obnoxious Americans, one of us would say Swiss, and that was the polite way of saying shut up and.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so use that.
Because I have that problem. You know, my wife is Japanese, and we go out there, and I now that you say that, I do notice that we were always the loudest table.
We're so loud.
Yeah.
It's true.
Wow. And that's, so, how, I mean, were they good communicators when you're one-on-one with them? It was just when you're out in public, you kind of had to be quiet?
Yeah, and I think we just have, I don't know what it is, but in America we just have this need to be heard, and if we're not being heard, we get louder instead of waiting our turn. So that was, they don't do that there. They felt a little more, I don't want to say less passionate and more polite, but that is almost what it felt like. I feel like here we're just very expressive, and it doesn't matter where we are or who we're with, that's how we roll, as opposed to where people were just a little bit more reserved.
Huh, that's interesting. So what would you say that you would recommend to people that get married or go into business together? What were the early stages of discovering that you needed to communicate in a different way, in a way that's proactive in finding out about the other person?
Well, I think most people have been in an unhealthy or not the relationship that they want, and that was my relationship before meeting Ryan. I was in an unhealthy relationship for 3 years. I knew it, people around me knew it, and yet I stayed. And so when we first started dating, Ryan and I had to do a lot of unlearning and relearning how to appropriately communicate. So that took some time, but it's really worth it, because if you want to be heard and if you want to feel heard, you have to figure out how to communicate with your partner and how they communicate. So, for instance, Ryan is someone that wants to talk about an argument or an issue or just flesh it out right then, no matter what the situation is, where I'm someone, and it could be because I'm more introverted, that I need some time to process, and I don't want to do that in front of you. I need to take a little bit of time in the bedroom or somewhere else to sort of collect my thoughts. So
God, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really feel like that you guys have been looking in my window, because you just described my wife and I to a T.
Yeah, or we caught them looking in our window.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's another story. You won't talk about there.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
That's episode 2. So but it's important to know that it's important for Ryan to know that that's how I function in the world and what my needs are for us to be able to have a meaningful, important conversation. That I need at least 20 minutes to myself to just cool down and collect my thoughts. And then I will happily come back and address whatever's going on. So being able to have those tough conversations is so important so that you can have those healthy, fun, laughter-filled moments as well.
Well, communication is definitely the key. I remember my wife, we were having these little arguments, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from because it wasn't coming from my side. And I finally asked her one day, "What is going on?" And she said, I says, "Why do you always like to argue or challenge? Who else am I going to argue and challenge with?" She has to get it out of her system.
Ah, interesting.
She said, "You're the best person for me to get it out of my system. Doesn't mean anything less." So once I understood that, then I could play the game.
Right, that's huge. That's so great. And there's an example that was just an epiphany for me, is that there are times when Ryan will say in our business, we really need to get more clients, or we really need to work on marketing, or we have to figure out how this system works. And for me, I was getting really angry and pushing back and being very defensive, and I didn't understand why until he added the word continue. I needed from him to say, we need to continue taking risks, we need to continue getting more clients, because when he would just flat out say we need to take more risks, to me that demeaned the risks, the big risks that I've taken by becoming an entrepreneur. So it's even those
more
small
scary
things.
to you.
Right.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's an important to word choice too.
Absolutely.
Really important, and you know that from helping to coach your husband as a speaker. But even as a communicator, we do need to think about what we're saying before we say it, and which it kind of helps being on the radio. We're having to do that all the time.
Yeah, right.
Make quick decisions and think of things, but when we do that in our relationships, and we don't think first, and we're just reacting rather than responding, then it definitely can cause some hurt feelings. There's a great book, and she didn't ask me to promote it or anything, but I just want to mention it in case you haven't read it yet. There's a great book called Fierce Conversations. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's
I'm writing it down.
By Susan Scott. Yeah, it's Fierce Conversations. The subtitle is Achieving Success at Work and in Life, One Conversation at a Time. It doesn't mean fierce like, fierce. It means important. Instead of avoiding the conversation because you're afraid of the conflict or something, there's a way to present it in a friendly way, but have those conversations.
And I think that's such a good point, and I'm glad you recommended that, because looking back, we're really not taught how to communicate. We learn communication by the people around us, but very few of us actually take a communication course and an interpersonal communication course. So I think that's so great to cut yourself some slack to maybe realize, I don't know how to best communicate, and that's a skill that I can learn.
Absolutely. That is such an important statement that you just made, because a lot of people feel, we're influenced by the people that are around us. That's usually what shapes your beliefs. It shapes where you are. You're usually
Absolutely.
who you're around. So if you learn how to deal with that and to communicate, that is the foundation of whatever direction you're going in, is being able to communicate appropriately. I agree.
So what would you say is the best way for people to get to know you better? I mean, what are some things that you've got a blog, website, and all that stuff? Why don't you share with all of our viewers and our listeners how they can follow you, other than going and look at it in your window?
Yeah, please don't do that. We're also on the 5th floor, so you would need a tall ladder.
The tall people, yeah.
So yeah, my blog is thenewwifestyle.com. It's like lifestyle, but with a W. And I post on there a few times a week. I just put out an article this morning on how to make your marriage a priority, and some tangible ways that you can start doing that now. is one way. And then I also do various types of coaching, and I love meeting people. So if we're ever in a city that you're at, I would love to grab a cup of coffee or have you come to one of our events so that we can hug and eat cookies or something delicious like that. But the new wife style is one of the best ways, and I have that on Twitter and Instagram. I love taking photos, so I have so many photos on Instagram, which is also the new wife style handle there.
Have you written a book on that yet?
That I am working on right this second. So I have a few chapters done, and I'm hoping to be done with the book by the end of this year. And it's really intended for new wives and newlyweds to help facilitate conversations and inspire particularly my generation and the generation behind me that marriage needs to be taken seriously. It's not something that you should just do for fun. It does take work. You need to make it a priority. Ryan and I were in a Starbucks a few weeks ago, and we heard a group of, I would say, maybe juniors or seniors in high school, and they said, ha ha ha, he would make a great first husband. And that just pierced my heart. The fact that our generation and the generation after us assumes that your marriage is already going to fail before you've even found a spouse.
Wow.
Isn't healthy and isn't good. So I really want to build marriage in a positive light and help give tools and resources so that people can live in a healthy and happy partnership.
Wow, I just saw that on the news. Somebody was interviewing young folks too, and the same thing happened. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, I think you'd be a good first husband." It's interesting. I hear it a couple times now. It is pretty sad. So now listen, you just did the deed of saying you were writing a book, and when you do that on my show, because I'm a coach, I always welcome to make sure that we have on the air so that it's recorded. Say, now you said you were hoping to have this done by the end of the year, so that means that as of December 31st,
yes,
let's give you till January 1st.
Thank you. Jeez.
January 1st. Hey, we're giving you a whole year. So as of January 1st of 2015, then your book will be available. Is that correct?
Yes, or at least being done written. So.
So what we need is the release date then. So what would be the release date?
The release date, I'm feeling right now that it's going to be about March 18th, 2015.
March 18th. Is that a significant date by any chance?
Just coming to me.
Okay, March.
I better write it down.
That's good. March 18th is it, and it will actually go into my calendar so that a couple of months before I will be contacting you to make sure that you're doing good and see if you need help with that.
I love it. Thank you.
Hey, Chelsea, trust me, because my book date was due for March 31st this year, and I'm still writing it, but I'm almost done.
Yeah,
for you.
I'm writing them.
Good.
That's the purpose of this whole conversation in the subconscious level. I got it.
It's sinking in.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I know that people love your posts, and you guys, I'm telling you, if you're not following her posts, you need to, her blog, because they've just got some funny pictures too, and I mean, funny, hilarious, not like, ooh, look, that's kind of funny.
I mean, a little bit of both.
Well, okay, I guess I have some of those too. But it is hilarious, and the way that you and your husband look at life is incredibly enjoyable to read about.
Well, thank you.
We
have a fun time.
Oh, so yeah, you've got to follow her post. So make sure that you go to her website and find out what's going on. Share with us a couple of the funny stories that you have put in your blog, could you?
Oh, geez. Everything. We just always have a good time. I'm thankful that now Ryan has finally appreciated or acknowledged that I'm the funnier one in the relationship, and he's actually becoming funnier.
He's not here to defend himself.
No, he's not, but he's becoming funnier, and I'm going to take credit for that. So we were just in Palm Springs last weekend, and it was his birthday, so I took him to brunch in downtown Palm Springs, and as I'm taking his picture, we have a celebrity, and I can't remember her name, but she was in Legally Blonde. She was the feminist in Legally Blonde, and she just jumped up and got in the photo, a few of them behind him, so that was just so funny, and he got all tongue-twisted, and we were both like, oh, we're starstruck by you, but we don't know your name, so.
Sounds like my interaction with
Glenn Morshower?
Glenn Morshower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Morshower has a couple of years in a row won the That Guy Award, which there is really a That Guy Award in Hollywood. Well, he's the guy who most often people have said, "Aren't you that guy?"
and you can't place it until you say 24 or Transformers.
Right.
You go, "Oh yeah, right,
yeah.
That guy."
Yeah, that guy.
That's funny.
That is funny. So, but we're, in a way, we're all celebrities, or should be in our own life.
Yes, of course.
And I love that you guys have really done well with working together in a business, because I am definitely one to say, no, run, don't walk, get away from that.
Well, we are consciously trying to be the flip side of that. I feel like you get to make the decisions in your life, so we have consciously made a decision to, again, make our marriage a priority, and if business starts interfering with that, then we look at that. But it's a really unique opportunity to be able to work together and travel the world and be with the person that you love the most.
And you know what? A lot of people, don't feel that they feel, well, I can't go into business with family, or I can't go to business with my wife. And I think that those are limiting beliefs that we put on ourselves.
I do too.
Do whatever you want to do as long as you program yourself appropriately. You don't have to do it with the math.
No, absolutely, and it is the whole program, because it does look very different. It is a lot harder to go in to business with a family member or your spouse, because there will always be a personal twist to things. You'll never fully be able to distance yourself from your business and say, now I am only husband and wife, or now I am only being business partners. There will always be an overlap, so it is tricky. But as long as you are aware of that and are conscious in that, I think it can absolutely be a success.
And you know what, Chelsea? I want to ask you, when are you going to start speaking?
Well, I did my first international speech in Toronto, which was really exciting, and I spoke about the new lifestyle. Thank you. So I do speak some, and Ryan and I, that's part of our next business plan, is that we will be speaking about helping people build better relationships. And I will be focusing on couples and individuals, and he will be helping people build better relationships with their audiences and with their employees.
I love that. I can see the two of you do, and maybe put this on your agenda for your next meeting together to discuss as a possible idea. But I could see you guys doing some kind of a 3-day retreat for couples.
Yeah, that's one of our things too. So don't ask me to put a date down for that.
No, I won't.
That's on our horizon too, because we are just both really passionate about helping people find their happiness in their marriages.
Make sure you invite us. I think it'll be fun.
You got it. We would have a great time.
All four of us, meaning our
wives. Yeah, I was going to say us. I mean, what's up with that?
That's why I said 4.
All 4 of you will be invited.
Got a bow on the head, and now he wants to go to some marriage thing together. Watch out.
It's sweet. It's sweet.
I know. Hey, we're friends. We're friends.
Hey, you don't know the half, Chelsea.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, listen, we're going to have to get out of here, but we want to hear from you. What do you think has really been the golden nugget, some takeaway from today's conversation? What for our audience? What's the key thing?
The key thing for me is being conscious of your choices. I think that would be the biggest takeaway, is be conscious of the choices that you choose for yourself and for with your partner.
Excellent, and that is so true. And so live in the now. Have some strength in yourself too, right? Be able to stand on your 2 feet.
Absolutely.
Have something to offer in a relationship, and I think those are absolutely wonderful tips for our audience. I really thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
You guys, Chelsea. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I so appreciate this, and you all are some fun.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, and I think we're going to be having Ryan on the TV show, the Saturday Morning Success talk show too, sometime soon too, to talk about his book.
Well, maybe I'll photobomb him on that.
Oh, we'd love to have. We've got to plan that so you can come in the studio. We would love
you guys
to
have to be here.
That'll be fun.
And we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Perfect. That would be some fun.
Excellent. Well, listen, we're going to get going out of here, but just to remind everybody, we're here every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, and the early bird gets the worm. We're also here actually live on Friday mornings from 8 to 9. AM 1620 locally in the Hemet San Jacinto area on smradio.org, if you just go there, you can see archives of all the shows. You can see all the other ways that you can watch us and listen to us. We're here for you. We like to teach you all the things that you need to do to be inspired and feel educated in running your own business. So new entrepreneurs and business folks, hang out with us. We'll help you. We love you. See you next week. We'll be back. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
AM 1620.